Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. As you will know by now, the George Harrison Living in the Material World deluxe set has been announced. That's coming on 15th of November. A 50th anniversary set. It's a year late, but we won't worry too much about that. I'm going to split this video into two sections. First of all, I'm going to give you facts about what's coming, when, what configurations, etc. And then I'll go on to talk about what I think about it, what things don't we know yet, and just general thoughts on this release. So, 15th of November, we are going to be getting a brand new remix of Living in the Material World, George's 1973 album. The remix is done by Paul Hicks, who did the All Things Must Pass remix in 2021. Paul Hicks also does the John Lennon remixes that have been coming out recently, those ultimate mixes. So you will get that remix on, for example, a 2 CD set with that remix on disc 1, and the second disc has a load of extras, demo versions, outtakes, etc. of each song on the album. You'll see those on the screen at the moment. There is a 2 LP version which is split the same. First LP is the remix of the album, second disc is those extra outtakes and demos. There is also going to be on George's website, there is some like 1 CD, 1 LP special edition versions that you can get that have just got the remix. The big box on this occasion is labelled as 6 discs, and this is how they break down. So, first 2 discs, let's go with the vinyl first. This box has vinyl. You can't buy this big box without buying the vinyl. That's different to what we've tended to see with Beatles and Beatles solo member releases in the past. At this price point anyway, I'm not talking about the sort of big, for example, £1,000 plus sets. There's nothing like that announced for this release. But the first 2 discs, the remix, Paul Hicks on 12-inch vinyl, the outtakes and demos on the second disc, same as the 2 LP version basically. There is then a third disc. I'm just going to make sure I get this right. So this third disc is a 7-inch single, never before heard recording of Sunshine Life for Me, Sail Away Raymond, the song that you'll know from Ringo's 1973 album. Of course written by George, but this presumably precedes the Ringo album recording. I guess we'll find out more about that in the book that comes with this. This recording features George, Robbie Robertson, Levon Helm, Garth Hudson and Rick Danko from the band, alongside Ringo as well. So it's got that on one side, and on the other side it's got an instrumental. This box set, as far as it appears at the moment, there's been a little bit of confusion online, but it looks like that's the only place you can get those 2 songs. Okay, apart from potentially a download version. We'll come on to that a bit later on. So that's 3 discs. There is then the 2 CDs in this big super deluxe edition box, the remix and the outtakes and demos on CD, and then there is a Blu-ray. Now, the information that's come from George's website doesn't necessarily tell us exactly what format those songs are going to be on Blu-ray. Is it going to be a high-res download? Well, not download, sorry, a high-res version? Almost certainly. It would be crazy not to have that on there. Will it have the Atmos version on there? It doesn't say, not that I've seen at the moment. If you've seen anything that says specifically, let us know down in the comments. So those 6 discs are 3 vinyl, 2 CDs and 1 Blu-ray. That's in a package that, depending on where you get it from, you might find it for between sort of maybe £120 to £140 UK or equivalent in whatever country you're in. I'll put some links down below where if you want to order these. So there is no Uber style box this time like there was with All Things Must Pass with that wooden crate a few years ago, and I'm glad. I think each of the Beatles, well, Ringo's probably never going to go into this world, but the other 3 probably have one of these in them. You can't do it for all the albums because who's got room for that? So John Lennon's done it with Mind Games, which is an incredible box. But again, you can't have a box like that in your house for every album. Who's got a house big enough? The George Harrison one, All Things Must Pass, that's been done. I don't think they're going to do that. This is a slimmed down version. This is just 1 disc of extras. So that is, giving me hope that they are finding a way to do this for each of George's albums. We will see. They've been notoriously slow, of course, of Danny and Olivia at releasing George material over the years, but hopefully now they're starting to get into some sort of groove. We had All Things Must Pass, albeit 3 years ago. We've now got this. We knew this was coming because Danny Harrison has mentioned in an interview recently that he'd said that he'd just been sent some remixes of Living in the Material World by Paul Hicks for him to listen to and presumably give approval to. That was back in probably early summer of this year. He's also said that Concert for Bangladesh is being worked on as well, so hopefully that might be the next release. We will see. So hopefully there's now going to be some sort of a George Harrison campaign coming out over the next few years, which would be fantastic. So there's those configurations there, your CD version, vinyl version, this box that combines both CD, vinyl and Blu-ray. Now I know that that's going to annoy some people. Well, I only want the Blu-ray, I don't want the vinyl. I've got to buy the vinyl to get the Blu-ray. For other people, probably people like myself who like to buy those different configurations, I'm really glad to get it all in one package. I don't need to buy separate ones. So different people will have a different opinion about that. I think in terms of size of the box, I don't think we know exactly what it's going to be yet. This is the 2021, this is the splatter vinyl for All Things Must Pass. Now, it's obviously got to be at least vinyl size to fit the 12-inch vinyl discs in. So could that contain something this size, contain two 12-inch vinyls, a 7-inch vinyl and a CD booklet? It might have to be a little bit bigger than this. So I expect something a little bit bigger than that, but probably a lot smaller than this huge, I think this was the 8-disc. Yeah, this was the 8-disc version. It's not going to be as big as that, so we will see. It does mean that maybe the George camp are not going for a uniform size. For example, the CD box that came out for All Things Must Pass, I'd be surprised if the 2 CD box, well, the 2 CD box isn't going to be that size because it's only about £25, which is a pretty good deal for 2 CDs. That's not bad with the booklet that comes with it as well. You're not going to get a box the same size as the All Things Must Pass box for that price. So they're not going with a uniform size like, for example, the John Lennon camp have done. Interesting. It's nice to see those uniform on your shelves, so maybe it looks like we're not going to get that. But I'm really excited about this release. I think, we haven't had enough of what we would have maybe necessarily liked from the George camp over the years. But like I say, maybe they're starting to do that now. So that is pretty exciting for George Harrison fans. Will they continue and do things like Dark Horse, Extra Texture, the self-titled album 33 1/3, etc. over the next few years? I certainly hope so. I think the fact as well, another thing that gives me confidence on that is that, strangely, I was surprised that this deluxe box is limited to 5,000 copies worldwide, which doesn't sound a lot to me. I would have expected more than that. So if they feel that this is a worthwhile project that earns the money that they and the record company want to earn in just 5,000 units, then hopefully they can do similar for the other albums, because I would have thought that probably all of George's albums might be able to sell 5,000 units worldwide. So that does make me hopeful that there is some sort of thought and campaign going on behind the scenes to get all these albums out eventually, which would be great. Let's have loads of extra George that we've not heard before. I think Living in the Material World will certainly benefit from a remix as well. It's those albums around that period, and this wasn't just George, this was certainly John Lennon as well. I don't know what was going on with some of the production, but it was quite muddy. The mix needs some good separation to it, so I'm certainly hopeful that we're going to get some good sound quality on this, and especially if they then do go on to things like Extra Texture and Dark Horse. When I've listened to those recently up close in headphones, I've thought, there's all sorts of things there that sound like they're trying to get out and sound like they could be quite funky, but they've just been buried buy other things, and I think the whole thing needs a bit of room to breathe. So I'm certainly hopeful that that's going to happen over the next few years. So I'm certainly going to be getting that deluxe box, and of course I'll be doing things like unboxings and all that kind of stuff that I always do with these kind of releases. So I'll be bringing that to you over the next, well, obviously mainly during November when it comes out. It's interesting timing, coming out on 15th of November, just before the Beatles US Capitol Albums box set comes out. And I know a lot of people have been sending me messages saying, Andrew, you've not talked about the Beatles US Albums box set at all. And I haven't. I just haven't had a chance lately, but I am going to be covering that. I'm not gonna go into my thoughts on it in this video, but it's going to be coming very soon. Is something about that. And then stuff around release time. So I haven't ignored that release. I just haven't really had a chance lately. So are you going to be getting this? Which configuration? What do you think about them packaging the Blu-ray together with the CD and the vinyl and having to buy all of those? Because I know some people are not going to like that. Other people think fantastic, get it all in one package. There's going to be download options available as well. If you want to download digital files or if you want to stream it, of course, it's all going to be there. If you don't want to buy one of these expensive boxes, it will all be available for streaming when it comes out. What we don't know yet is whether available for streaming will be the Sunshine Life for Me songs, the main version and the instrumental. Like I said, at the moment, it's only been advertised as being on that 7-inch set inside the deluxe box. So we'll see whether they come on streaming. Certainly, for example, with the John Lennon Mind Games, the hidden tracks that were there on the deluxe box set are being released on streaming. So we may well get those in other formats. So let me know what you think. As always, love to hear from you. And yeah, looking forward to a nice bit of George in November. Excellent. Thanks for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.